I bring you guys to the attention of one Brandon Tatum. Now, I've known who Brandon Tatum is for many years. I'm familiar with his shtick. He's a failed professional football player turned police officer turned content creator. And all of a sudden, in the last several weeks, he has become as big an Israel shill as you could possibly imagine. And I'm only going to give you guys just a little taste of what some of his commentary is. And then we're going to hear from our real industry expert on the shady behavior of a lot of these content creators. Our good friend Blakeley is going to have a nice commentary on this. But first, here's what he had to say. Men crying about people dying during a war is weird. Kids dying. Yeah, bro, it's urban warfare. It happens, unfortunately. What a bunch of wussies with a P. Glad you never served. You cowards would never fight for freedom. Now, the reason I pulled this one up is for a very specific reason. Brandon Tatum never served this country. In fact, I believe that a lot of what he talks about borders on stolen valor. He would like people to believe that he served, but there is no indication that he did. I looked up his record, top to bottom. He never did. He served in the police department. And if you think that that's worthy of calling yourself a public servant, I'm sorry. There is some degree of public service that is involved with being a police officer. But we all know, especially the way it's evolved in recent years, that that's not how it is. It's much more worse and much more sinister. But that's not all. Colin, can I get the one about Israel, please? He just posted this a few days ago. October 7th is burned into my memories. The beheading, the murdering of innocent men, women, and children, burning people alive, raping women, the cheering in Gaza at the death of innocent people. I will never forget. That day turned me into a warrior for Israel. Some warrior. What do? Comment online? Tell people how great Israel is? And you get paid to do that? As I said, can't pay me enough. I'm not anti-cop, but I am strongly for major police reform. And the policy that I would push for is the elimination of, I'm trying to remember the qualified immunity. You have to eliminate qualified immunity. If you want policing to change in the United States, it will only change if you put them in a bind financially. That's it. There is no other way. The police will police the police, and that is it. But Blakeley, our good friend, had a thing or two to say about this.
Actually, one of the funniest stories that I've seen all week, okay? So this guy is a YouTuber who never used to talk about the Israeli regime. Like,
first of all, I have to say right off the bat, and I don't mean to poke at anybody specifically if anybody battles weight problems, but my goodness, Brandon Tatum has blown up like a balloon. And he, again, former, he made it to the NFL Combine. I mean, he went pretty far. This is about 15 years ago. But he didn't make it. He never got picked up. He went undrafted, and then he decided to become a police officer. And then, lo and behold, he became a Trump ball buffer, and, now he's got himself a platform that he runs with. And clearly he saw an opportunity to make some more money, and this is how he decided to go about doing it. Speaking to Netanyahu, just like Patrick Bet-David, just like the Nestle boy, Nettle boy. Guys, remember the name. We covered that once. I can't remember the names. I don't give a shit. But nevertheless, I would say that this is a pretty big deal.
Literally not at all. And then out of nowhere, like a month ago, he started doing Zionist propaganda. And it's really weird. It happened to coincide around the same time that it was revealed that the Israeli regime was spending hundreds of millions of dollars on Hasbara, on influencers, and in the media, like Google, how they spent $50 million there, in order to try to change the narrative, because people in the West, especially in America, not only oppose the genocide that the Israeli regime is carrying out in Gaza, but they're starting to have an unfavorable view of Israel in general.
I could not agree with Blakeley more. There is no question that it is turning. But what I think is going to be very interesting is now it's so obvious that these guys are bought and paid for. So how long before the audience just kind of clues in and is like, you guys are way too much of a corporate hackery for me to ever support you? That, for me, I think, is a huge part of this. And make sure you're subscribed to Blakeley's channel if you're not already. Good to see you, Lou. Again, do I think that Brandon Tatum believes any of the bullshit that's spewing out of his mouth? Probably not. But the checks are really good. And if the checks are really good, like they are for David Pakman, they sure as shit are for Brandon Tatum. And he's going to say whatever the fuck he needs to in order to get that sweet corporate cash, even if it's bathed in Palestinian blood. And that's okay. Blood washes off, right? That's how they look at it.
Left is already gone. Even the libs, the Democrats, they're gone. They're losing the Republicans. And that's not an easy thing to do, because a lot of Republicans are brainwashed from a very young age because of evangelical dispensationalism.
That is partially true, but remember, where evangelism is popular. It's popular, as Casey Malone, guest of our show, has said before. It's popular in the heartland. It is popular in the South. It is not popular all over the country. Not all Republicans are like that. In fact, a substantial amount of the Republican base, especially the young base, or younger base, I should say, is very America First libertarian in a lot of ways. So they're not really with this anyway. But I do believe that a lot more of the younger generation, those that were raised in the evangelical church, they're starting to break away. So as I said, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. That's what we have to remember.
To support the nation state of Israel. So this guy's a Christian, and clearly I can't prove that he was totally paid off to do this, so I won't say that. Okay, so what's the funny part? The funny part is most Christians don't know that they're hated in Israel. Like, literally hated. Israelis hate Christians, and they will often, it's a known thing, spit on Christians when they are there. They laugh.
That is 100% true. If anybody has not seen the video clips of the religious Zionist Jews in, well, probably Tel Aviv would be my guess where a lot of those clips are drawn from. But I can assure you, if you have not seen them, and it's not even Palestinians, if you haven't seen them go in front of churches as well as mosques and spit on them, oh, it's real, baby. It is very real.
At Christians, they laugh at us for being really stupid and uneducated and blah, blah, blah. So he's doing propaganda trying to get Christians back on his side. That's why he's here, to do propaganda on this guy's show. And listen to what he says.
Israel is the only place where we're respected and protected. You know, went to Israel. I spent 2 weeks there with the church, and we had an incredible time. We had only one incident where a small child spit on one of the pastors.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Only one instance. I'm sure it happens all the time. But when we were there, they did everything in their power not to let such a thing happen, because they were warned not to let it happen. We have to keep up appearances. That's very important. So we cannot look bad to the public. So make sure, if you're going to spit, don't do it directly on them. Only spit once. I don't know. Kind of let the cat out of the bag on that one, Brandon boy.
They're trying to help him. He's trying to help with the propaganda. He's like, listen, I only got spit on once. Hey, Officer Tatum, you weren't supposed to say that. That's an off-camera statement. Right-wing Christians, let me know. Are you?
I agree. That was a slip of the tongue. He wasn't supposed to let that out because, again, that only further proves how absolutely fucked they are. Their ideology is running out of places to go. Could you imagine? Just think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Could you imagine the level of desperation that they have to feel right now? That Netanyahu, Milikowski, feels that he has to go on with this fuck? That this is who he has to talk to get a point across, to try to convince another audience? I don't know about you, but that reeks of desperation. Who else could they possibly convince? Who else? There isn't anybody else. They have to go for the grifters now, because those are the only ones that are going to platform them. There are enough people with enough sense at this point to say, yeah, this is definitely toxic. I can't get anywhere near this. But whether you are on the liberal side, conservative side, everything in between, it doesn't matter. If the price is right, they will do it. But that's what we're reduced to. Whether it is a David Pakman, who represents the Democrats, whether it's Brandon Tatum, who represents the Republicans, if their hand is out and their platform's big enough and is being boosted by Google 24/7, sure, they'll do it. How much you think Brandon Tatum was paid for this clip? I'll guess at least 100,000. That's my guess. I mean, I don't know, guys, if his platform is that big on YouTube. I know he's got a very substantial following on X. I believe he's over 850,000 subscribers. I mean, that's big business for sure. And certainly a reach for sure. But my guess is it's, so RJK thinks he's cheap. He thinks it's only 10,000. Hey, you know what? When you're desperate, yeah, maybe. But as I said, much like with Pakman and Richie Torres being a humiliation ritual, this seems quite like the humiliation ritual as well on Tatum's part. Again, to subject yourself to such cuckery is amazing. And remember, all those shekels are bathed in Palestinian blood, and you'll never be able to wipe it off, no matter how hard you try. So that is where we are.